but it's said Lorna.
Lorna.
Yeah, you'll have to double check with her. I'm pretty certain that's because I asked her that. I said, "Is your name Lona?" As in like a loner, someone who likes to be alone. No friends loner. I said, or is it?
Right.
Am I just reading it wrong? She said, "Yeah, no, it's spelt Lona, but it's said Lorna apparently."
Okay.
So, we apologise if she listens to this for calling her Lona.
Yeah, I call her Star. So Star, if you're listening, that's your name, and that's what I'm going to call you.
Yeah, that's the best bet. Just keep it with the story.
But she kind of had the same thing going on, to where her character had evolved into an actual entity of the story, and she has sent in several like several writings of who her character is, and she's got a daughter and what happened in the story, in the fantasy world of zombie life before she hooked up with us. Inside the story, there's a couple different acronyms like ZFC, the ASMZ. ASMZ is the American Science Military for Zombies, and I think that came in around like the second or third month of the story.
I only found out what that meant via the intro.
Oh, really?
When you sent me the intro, the idea, which, by the way, I fucking love the intro.
Oh, do you like it?
I love the song as well. I love The Stranger Beside Me. They are very good.
Can't beat the song, dude. The
song's amazing. They are such a good band.
Good. Yeah, but, tight, right?
It is, yeah, but it fits in so well. It sounds... You're
telling me...
But I never knew...
You're telling me...
Yeah.
You didn't know what it was?
Nope. I had no idea.
You didn't know it was the American Science Military for Zombies?
Nope. I had not a clue.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I've just found out. I remember hearing it and I thought to myself, shit, you know what, I never actually thought to ask what it meant. So, yeah.
Well, that's what it meant. American Science Military for Zombies. And it kind of moved over a pretty nice little transition when the story moved from America to Africa, because I can still use the A, and so it still works pretty good. I can't really do it for Canada, and CSMZ, I guess, has a little ring to it, but Lona hasn't said anything about using that in her story. So there's 4 or 5 characters that have really evolved, and there's 2 characters inside the story that have come out of nowhere, and they're called there's Isabel and X. And as you know, the story Zombie Life follows real life, and so it talks about real news. Whenever Kim Jong-il or whatever his name is, whenever he died, it was talked about inside the story, and it was all had to do with zombies. And President Obama, when he came in, it had to do with zombies and everything.
Yeah.
So the story behind, I don't know if you know, but the story behind X and Isabel, those are actually in real life brother and sister. Did you know that?
No, I've I know the names, but I'm not 100% sure who they are.
Okay. Well, in the story, Isabel and X are 2 characters. Isabel right now is in Colorado in the story. X is in Africa, and with you. Yeah. And so, but they're actually really in real life brother and sister that were their father moved away in real life, and so. But they've always wanted to get reunited, but certain circumstances in life have kept them apart.
Oh, right.
So inside the story, I tried to mirror what really happens in reality. Yeah. So in real life, the 2 kids are getting reunited right now with their father, who is Lord Micah, who's my brother. So
I know that much. So is that that's not their actual dad?
That is their actual dad. That is
their actual dad. Oh, okay.
And in real life, they don't live with them, but they want to. And so now they're starting to come together. And my relationship with the kids have been kind of strained because of certain things. And my way of communicating to these 2 children are through the story. And so my way of communicating to them is through the story. And so I talk about them, and I talk to them about what their dreams and aspirations are through the story, and connect them with their father. So now, because of that, they're spending 2 weeks, maybe more, in Dallas with their father. So I think it's,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to take one and pat myself on the back for that reunion.
No, I'm not letting you.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. It's cool. You've actually used your blog and your way to reunite a family. It's pretty sweet.
Well, I'm doing what I can. So you're always into horror, right? You always kind of like horror movies and
I love horror-related stuff. I think nowadays, any horror-related films are pretty shite. Just due to the fact that every horror film seems to be a 15, which I don't know what that would be for you guys, but it's it's ridiculous, and you never find a really decent 18, which is what I like to go and see. Anything, I think the last 18 I saw was The Last House on the Left, the remake.
Now, what are you talking about, a 15 and an 18? What does that mean?
Well, what when you have certificates in America, what you have sort of stuff. We have PG, which is parental guidance. We have U, which is for the kids. So any like Disney films were normally, a lot of the older ones were U. A lot of nowadays are probably PG. But so you got PG, parental guidance. Then you got 12, which is no one could go and see a film below the age of 12. And the same with 15 and the same with 18. So if you have an 18 film, you can't go and watch the film if you are younger than 18. Or I think nowadays they do it if you're with an adult, if you're with a parent, and they allow you to go and see it, then that's fine, I think. But
we have G, PG, R, and NC-17, and then X. And NC-17 kind of just hovers around there. Every once in a while it pops its head up. But usually it's just G, PG, PG-13, of course, and then R. Yeah. So you guys actually separate it by age, and you call them 16 or 18s.
Yeah, it's nice and easy to remember that way. If if you're not 12, fuck off. Basically, if you're not older than that, if you're younger than 18, don't bother going and try and see it. But
how old were you when you saw your first zombie movie? You remember your first zombie movie?
Do you know what? My friend got me into zombie films when I was I was quite old. I was about 14, maybe 13, 14.
Okay.
And he got me into zombie flicks because he had a lot of the old ones like Zombie Nosh, Zombie Flesh Eaters, Evil Dead, which is now one of my favourites. That's an awesome film.
Dude, that's my all-time favourite movie.
It's such a good film. Did you hear my comment about on the Corpse Cast the other day?
No, what did you say?
The last one about what I rung up, and they were talking about. I don't think it was this recent one that's gone out. It was one a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about the films they banned in England. I can't think what you call them now.
Huh.
And there was a list of films that got like banned in England because they were that meant to be that bad. And one of them that I'd seen was The Last House on the Left, but I'd seen the remake, not the original. And one of them that cropped up was the Evil Dead.
Oh man!
And I rang up and just said, I'd never heard of him, but Evil Dead's a classic, which is
why was it banned? What is it about Evil Dead that forced them to ban it?
It's probably the funniest scene in the film where the woman gets raped by a tree.
All right.
But England's weird. We have some right weird rules, and they obviously you can get them now. They're all out and about now, and it very rarely happens. But I know another one that was has just been released a few years ago. Was that the film I Spit on Your Grave?
Oh man, I can't wait, dude. I tried to watch that the other day, and it's beyond what I can consider morality.
Yeah. It's a bit like I've never seen it, but a lot of people have said it's really fucking not like scary, but really it's horrific. It really fucking gets to you, sort of thing.
It just kind of leaves you with, why did I spend my time? I mean, I fast forwarded through certain parts of the movie. The whole movie is based repeatedly, and it's just not my thing. It is horrific, but man, I think the guy who wrote the movie must have just had one too many enemas or something. I don't know what he was thinking when he wrote that. So
you get some fucked up people. Is it worse than the Human Centipede?
In my opinion, yes. It's because
really? Dude, do us a favour a second. Just turn your video off.
So we were talking about the Human Centipede or the difference between Human Centipede and a movie like I Spit on Your Grave, right?
Yeah. Before our fucking internet connection went.
Well, the Human Centipede, I don't see that as ever really happening unless it's inside some kind of weird, science lab.
I don't know. They were they? In like Germany or something, were they?
Right.
They are pretty weird people. No offense.
Yeah, they can do. And no offense to Germans, like you're saying, but yeah, they do some weird stuff. So I don't know. That's why I always turn back to zombie movies, man, because it's not so much predictable, but it's got that nice, even kill feeling of fright, and to me, that is truly the scariest thing to ever happen to me. If zombies were to walk the world, and exciting at the same time, but scary as all hell if you really think about it.
I like going on your. I'm assuming your favourite zombie flick is Evil Dead.
My favorite zombie movie is Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Was that the third one, isn't it?
Army of Darkness is the third one, and I think it was like a college experiment. But it just blew up. I don't know how the movie was made or who made it. I can't remember the dude's name. Shamalama Ding Dong or whatever his name is.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, so I can't remember what his name is. But he, in my opinion, is the funniest. And the first time I watched it, I was blown out. I had too much to drink, and I shouldn't even been drinking because I was too young. But that's the first time I watched it, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And so ever since then, I just tried. There's another movie that came out not too long ago. Actually, it's probably been 10 years now. It's made by the same guy, and it had the same.
What, the same director?
Yeah, same director, the same kind of
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, Raimi.
Is it Raimi?
Yeah,
Sam Raimi.
It had the same kind of filmography and the same kind of weird, jagged comedy about it, and so. But yeah, that's why zombies are my favorite thing to be afraid of. So,
I think, yeah, definitely. They are a bit. I think mine. I like. Have you seen 28 Days Later?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. That's a British.
That's just down to the fact that it's a British flick, and you very rarely get those, especially a good one. But that I fucking love. I like the whole concept of it. I like the idea of they were zombies, but they were like infected with rage, and it was just a great film. It was it was gruesome, violent. Can't beat it.
Yeah, it was really, really good, and it had a lot of emotional ties to it too. There's a lot of things that went on where you actually fall into that character's perspective and wonder how in the hell they're going to survive something like that.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck, though. That is cool.
And I don't know how many people are going to hear this, but the people that do hear it, if you have a favorite zombie movie, and make sure there's a zombie or two in it. It can't be something like Sound of Music or something, but your favorite zombie movie, email it. Email your response to us, and what is it? Is it ZMBL podcast? ZMBL podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Email us and let us know what your favorite zombie movie is.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good shout. I like that. Because I reckon there's a lot. Hopefully, I'd like to think a lot of people will watch this, listen to this even.
Yeah, I think so. Because, how do you beat a zombie-related podcast? It's hard to do.
You can't.
Okay, so I got a question, because I know that you like heavy music, right?
Yes.
Okay, heavy music is a part of my heart and soul. That's why I like bands like, the one Brian's in, and then there's all these other bands.
Stranger Beside
right, and there's all these other heavy bands that I've just always loved. I love Tool. I love Meshuggah. I love
Meshuggah. I've just started getting into. They're pretty. Cool. I do like.
Yeah, that's so good. I love the off time. I love the way that it makes you feel. Do you think there's a huge relation to heavy music and horror, or to zombies specifically? So whenever you watch a zombie movie, do you expect, whenever there's an attack scene coming up, do you expect to hear
in a
heavy
way
music?
Yeah, in a way I do. Not all the time. There's some good zombie films that probably don't use heavy metal or anything of the kind, but yeah, you do. It's different to like horror films in general. I think you expect to hear a lot of rock, a lot of metal, a lot of stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff like, you wouldn't expect to hear Meshuggah in a comedy, would you?
Right.
The audience are laughing.
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, it's a bit strange.
Well,
but yeah, I think with a lot of like rock and metal in horror films, it's
if
definitely
Zombie Life was made into